Welcome to the Ultra Street Fighter 4 World Warriors of Capcom Cup Players Series Showcase. My name is Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. And this is the series of videos where we analyze the 16 players who have qualified for Capcom Cup 2014 that's going to take place on December 13th at the Warfield in San Francisco, California. Of course, if you could make it, try to buy tickets to watch it live because it'll be really fun. You get to hear the crowd hype and all this stuff. But if you can't, then definitely tune in on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
That's right. So there are a couple of different ways to get into the Capcom Cup. One way is by winning one of 10 tournaments outright, thereby qualifying automatically. The other way is by winning or doing well at enough tournaments to get points throughout the year. There are 6 players who qualify like that. Right. But today, let's talk about a player who won outright.
That's right. And not only did he win outright, he was the first one to do it. So he was our first official qualifier of Capcom Cup way back in March. And this, of course, is none other than Ryan Hart from United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that this was way back. And in fact, this was in the previous version of the game. This was in AE 2012.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
So Ryan Hart has a history in fighting games going back a long time.
Oh, yeah.
He has been coming to Evolution, in fact, since 2003.
At least that was the first time I found any records of him getting top 8. He could have been coming a lot sooner than that.
That's
true. Yeah.
That's true. But he was one of the first people from outside of the U.S. to really start coming. And he had success in games, as you said, that's the first time you saw him in a top 8. He has gotten top 8 or won Tekken, at least two, 3 different Tekken games.
Yeah, he won a Tekken Tag tournament, and then he won a Tekken 5 tournament at Evolution.
And did well in Tekken 4. He got top 8 in Tekken 4.
And also Virtua Fighter. He got top 8s in Virtua Fighter. I believe he made a top 8 in a Third Strike tournament. This guy is just pretty much talented all around, like everywhere.
I remember the first times I heard of him, it was in a 3D fighter context. And later I heard about him in Third Strike. Yes, and then now, of course, in SF4, and it seemed to me like he made that switch, but I'm sure he was playing 2D fighters the whole time as well. So he has more of a varied background than most of the players who are in Capcom Cup.
Yeah, I mean, there have been talks at some point of who are the greatest overall fighting game players of all time, like overall.
Right.
And names like Tokido, Daigo gets in there, Justin gets in there. Right. But one of the names that always gets in there as well is Ryan Hart. Because this guy, there's not a lot of people who transitions between the 2D and 3D games like Ryan Hart. Most people are good at like the 2Ds and then maybe some of the Air Dasher games and stuff like that. But Ryan Hart pretty much covers the entire gamut.
Yeah, he's just extremely, extremely talented. He also, I gotta say, I remember him in Third Strike. I went to London at one point. I studied in London.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay.
During a summer. And I was so disappointed to find out that he was not there that summer. He was the player who I was most looking forward to playing because I had heard about him. He had already had a lot of success in Third Strike, which was my game back then. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, and I mean, his success has definitely not gone unnoticed because if I'm not mistaken, he was the first fighting game player to have an official sponsor at one point. I mean, he's jumped around a little bit since then. He's definitely not with the same sponsors that he was when he started, but I'm pretty sure he was the first player to be sponsored as a fighting game player.
Yeah, he's been making a professional go of it for quite a while.
Yeah. In fact, I think he also is in the Guinness Book of World Records, the gaming Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, for the most international Street Fighter tournament wins.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, and we talked about how this victory that he had was in AE 2012. And yeah, basically at the tail end of 2012, Ryan Hart, I don't mean the year, I mean AE 2012.
Right.
Ryan Hart was almost the best player because he was winning so many tournaments at the end of that game's life cycle. Obviously, when Ultra came out, Sagat got a little bit nerfed in some areas and stuff like that, but he still has been able to maintain, extremely dominant play.
Well, so far in the Capcom Cup, there are only a couple of repeat characters among all the among all the 16 players. One of them is Sagat.
That's right. Yeah, we've got Ryan Hart and Bonchan, of course.
That's right.
Him.
That's right. But in Ultra, he hasn't had the success. Ryan, that is, hasn't had the success that he had in 2012. He's had a lot of success. Okay, he's been very good. He's been to a bunch of tournaments. In his past 6, for example, third place, second place, fourth place, second place, and these are big tournaments. Okay, so he's been doing really well. He hasn't won a major. The last one that he won is the one that we're going to talk about today, which was that final round. But since then, still has done a great job.
Right, but I mean, one of the things to point out is you said second place, third place. He's gotten second place pretty much the same person every time, which is Luffy, right?
Right.
So, I mean, one person is basically standing in his way. And if it wasn't for Luffy, we would have read that as first place, second place, first place. So, yeah, I mean, again, this guy, one of the strongest players in all of fighting game history. And, yeah, we should also mention, too, though, although he is known for using Sagat, he does use a lot of different characters, and there is a chance, I know he's been practicing Yun, I believe. Right. He's been using Yun at a lot of tournaments as well. And, you know, in the past, we've seen him use all sorts of characters. I remember there was one time Daigo went to Europe, and Ryan Hart ended up beating him with Cammy, I think it was. It might have been in Super. He's so versatile. He's just able to use a lot of different characters and play a lot of different styles. I mean, one of the things that we're going to see in the match we're going to watch today is his ability to adapt and to change up and to be able to play different styles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. When I think of Ryan Hart, I think in terms of play style that the first thing that comes to mind is variability, adaptability, and confidence in gameplay.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because we were talking about like, oh, how do we describe his? But the thing is, he spans all sorts of different. You can't really pin him down because he has so many different ways that he can beat you, and it's really because Sagat is a defensive character, right? But then he's also good at Yun, and he's played Cammy, and they're both very offensive characters. Yeah. He basically just switches around to whatever he needs to do.
Right. So. He has. I mean, look, he has a great sense of spacing. Great understanding of mix-ups, great understanding of player psychology, all the things that you need. You know, we talked about his background and how many different games he's played. Players who have experience across a bunch of different games, let alone 3D to 2D or 2D to 3D, they sort of develop, I think, a better understanding of different aspects of fighting games. Some games teach you different things. Some can teach you about execution, or about fireball games, or about spacing, or about reactions, or about understanding timing, all sorts of stuff. And since he's been good at so many different games, he has either he was just a natural at all of those things, or he's taught himself how to do all of those things over the years. Right,
exactly. And so not a surprise to me at all that he was our first qualifier out of everybody. And he did so at final round in March, as I mentioned. It was the inaugural Capcom Premier Pro Tour event. So he was the first qualifier. Yeah. Now, this was played on version AE 2012. Right. And so that's actually what we're going to watch here. So we're not going to be watching Ultra. It's going to be AE 2012. But we're going to see him qualify in versus PR Balrog. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting match because we're going to go through both sets. Spoilers here, right? So PR Balrog wins the first set, right? The interesting thing about this is that PR Balrog starts off so dominating. Yeah. And he basically runs over Ryan Hart in the first set. Right. But that's why, that's what makes it so interesting. Right. Because when you get beat up that badly, a lot of times you're just like, what do I do? But this is just a perfect example here of Ryan Hart and how he's going to adapt and how he changes up his gameplay. Yeah. After taking a long time to think about it between sets.
Right. We'll see that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you want to hop into it then?
Yeah, sure. Let's go over here for 1 second.
So these two characters, like we said, this is in AE 2012. Neither one changed dramatically. They're mostly the same characters. Some characters in Ultra did change pretty significantly. These two, there are some on the margins sort of changes, maybe especially for Balrog, but nothing that's really going to change how these two players play in terms of what we're trying to understand, which is mindset and play style.
And keep in mind, again, PR Balrog is coming from losers, so he has to win 3 out of 5 twice to win the tournament. Ryan Hart only needs to win 1 set. But, I mean, despite Ryan Hart starting good here, once PR Rog starts getting momentum, you're going to see that he's basically going to win like a ton of rounds in a row.
Right. Well, so let's talk about what PR Rog is doing well and what Ryan Hart is not doing that well, because like we said, we're going to see different things later on, but you have to pay attention to what is happening now to see the difference.
Right.
So Ryan is playing a pretty defensive style.
Mm-hmm. Careful, very careful and cautious.
That's probably a better way to put it, yeah. He is not taking risks. In situations where there are kind of neutral situations, neither one has a clear advantage, Ryan Hart tends to sit back and sort of let PR Rog do whatever it is he's doing.
Yeah, he's not hitting a lot of buttons. And you'll see situations where PR Rog will take these long walks forwards, long forward walks, and just unimpeded, basically. And also, yeah, he's playing carefully. And the one key thing to know about PR Rog's style is that he's an active player. He likes to go on offense. He likes to rush you down and stuff like that.
Right.
And so by playing this defensive style, he's kind of playing into PR Balrog's hands. And you can see right here.
Ryan on the right.
Ryan already a little bit kind of like, okay, that was interesting. You could kind of tell there's something stirring in his mind already that he's trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
So with PR Rog playing more offensive, I feel like Ryan Hart at first decides to keep trying to play a little bit safer, but it's just not working out for him. I mean, he's got a life lead, and he's had a life lead a couple of times, but all PR Rog really needs to do is get in 1 time on him.
Well, that ends up happening. Grab into the corner. A lot of the fight happens in the corner, especially in the first set. That's sort of how the match goes. That's not that unusual, but I guess what is unusual is this kind of situation. Well, okay, maybe not right there, but for the most part, when Ryan's in the corner, he's not doing that much.
Right. Very, very careful, like we said. He seems to be scared to touch buttons. And, I mean, just to kind of give a little hint that once we get to the next set, you're going to see this change pretty drastically, that he starts becoming more active. Like right now, watch, when he gets in the corner, and also when he's playing this ground game, he's not jumping. We've talked about, in another video series, how Bonchan rarely jumped, right? But in this kind of a situation against a character like Balrog, jumping can actually benefit you a lot more because neutral jumps can hurt dash punches, and he doesn't have an uppercut, for example. I mean, obviously, if he has good reactions, he can crouch fierce you out of the air or something like that. But you can gain a little mileage out of jumping a lot more.
Also notice what happens after PR Rog throws out turnaround punches. Those are pretty even situations. Neither character has a clear advantage. So far, Ryan Hart has not challenged after those.
And right there, PR Rog with just a great fireball prediction.
Yeah. So he's just essentially chip damage away from taking this thing. Yeah. So Ryan is a smart player, understands the situation. He was chip damage away. And really, it was just about guessing when the opponent is going to do, when Rog is going to do that dash punch into super.
Right, exactly. But PR Rog, of course, had a really good read and was just like, you know what, I know you're going to do this, so I'm just going to chill here. Yeah. And it worked out for him. So, yeah, but let's get back into this real quick here. You're going to see third game, PR Rog already winning the first 2. And yeah,
see that delayed crouch tech. That's about the most active that Ryan does.
Yeah, and PR Rog has just not only been able to jump over the fireball, he's been able to turn around, punch through it and hit him. He's focused attack dash through and hit him. Ryan really, this fireball game, this defensive Sagat fireball game is not working out for him particularly well, or at least the rhythm in which he's using it. It's a little too standard right now.
You see how often PR Rog has had that focus in the corner? Okay, that was very nice.
There you go, a jump. He might have picked up on that particular jump right there so that he got in, because you'll start to see him do that a little bit more in the second set. Yeah, and PR Rog with so much utility right now with all that meter and ultra.
Yeah, anything Ryan does is going to be a risk.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so Ryan hasn't even won a round yet.
Nope. It's been pretty fast.
Right. And so this is also kind of important because confidence you mentioned about Ryan, right? Most people, if they lose 6 rounds in a row to lose a set, are just going to be crushed and defeated. But, obviously Ryan Hart wins this because he qualifies. So that's a very strong credit to his mental fortitude, to his mental strength. And the veteran status that he has, that he's been in all these situations before, and despite Pierrog kind of blowing him up in the first set, that he knows he can still adjust and win.
Right.
That's definitely a veteran kind of attitude.
Every now and then he tries something that is kind of a harbinger of what he ends up doing in the next set. You see that DP right there? We saw the jump back in the previous game that he turned into, a bunch of damage.
Right.
So there are those things, but now he gets a chance to really think about it after that first set is over.
Right, and this is, like I said, the between the sets is kind of long, but I really want you guys to see this.
Yeah, this is important.
This is important. Look at this. Look at how he's reacting here. He knows he got beat up.
Right.
And we've seen, both you and I have seen countless tournaments where a guy gets beat up and then just, like, you can almost see that he's not even playing anymore in the next set, and he's not even trying.
Right.
And Ryan, and look at Pierrog. He looks confident. He just looks like, oh, I think I can keep doing this.
He doesn't need to change much.
Yeah, and Ryan is just thinking about it. And but look at him. He looks very perturbed.
Yeah, perturbed, trying to settle himself down, trying to figure out what to do, trying to go over the match in his head and think, what happened there? What were the timings I was using that were so predictable? What were the spacings I was using that he took advantage of? And try to use different timings, try to use different spacings, different tactics that he wasn't using so much. And
the interesting thing is, he kind of figures it out.
He does. It's not immediate. You'll see in this first game here that he's sort of figuring it out, but by the second and third game, he's pretty much nailed it. Yeah.
And so it's really interesting. You very rarely see these kind of turnarounds like this. So
yeah, we definitely thought that this was cool to show because we often talk about adaptation, but this is such a good example of it.
And like we said, he's so versatile and he can go any way. This is actually this kind of is very representative of his chameleon kind of play.
So did you see him go for the stand grab after the turnaround punch? He had gone for crouch tech and stuff before, or just blocking, but not that, and it didn't work. But it's a good example of what he's trying to do.
So let me go back just a little bit. But he also did a wake up low jab. Yeah. So there's the throw that you're talking about right there. So he gets him in the corner here. Now remember, when he's gotten to the corner, he hasn't done as much. He hasn't hit a lot of buttons. And here he wakes up with low jab tiger.
Right.
Instead of an uppercut or nothing. And
right.
there's
and
a jump.
He jumps.
Yep.
It's supposed to be something else, I think, but this is a 6 setup. Doesn't end up working out.
Yeah. Might have been an unblockable, which is gone from
right. Yeah. Mostly. Sort of.
Yeah.
You see, he is throwing in some fakes now.
Yeah, varying the timing and then going on offense.
Well, yeah, and not just offense, but kind of hard to nail down offense. He went in for a stab, and then he went right back out immediately.
Right, and that's a huge difference, too, because he had been just almost exclusively going backwards in the first set.
Yeah, I like that mobility.
Oh, that was so good.
Well, like I said, it's not immediate, but you can see some things in there that were differences.
Right. And again, this is the kind of situation where, like, man, I changed my game up a little and I still lost, and you can just be like super sad about it. But no, not this guy. Ryan Hart, probably one of the mentally strongest players that I know.
There was a neutral jump, nothing came, but he hadn't done that too often.
And here it is, an uppercut. He
Gets
just
out
went
of the
for
corner.
it. Went for it.
There's the neutral jump.
Yep.
First time it pays off. See him teching. He's not blocking so much in that situation anymore.
All right, gets him a screen away again. And see, comes in
first
for
time
the
he'd
overhead.
done that.
Yeah.
Dashed up overhead.
An uppercut, no meter to focus it. And he just went for it.
Just a great read.
Yeah.
Whiff punish there.
So this is the first round that he's won. So this is kind of important.
Oh, yeah, there was a little bit funky in the video.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. All right. All right, nice uppercut again. So he uppercuts the turnaround punch there. He's not letting him bully him with the turnaround punch like he was before. And again, wake up uppercut. Oh, great.
This is just pretty sick from PR Rog right here. This wasn't that easy to do in AE 2012.
Right.
Easier now.
But here we are in a situation.
You see the focus anti-air there, the jump toward there, being more active.
Yeah, but see, it's the same situation again. See, he's in this bad place, but look at him pumping. Look at him pumping.
Right, you could see it beforehand, and he's just waiting to react to something. I was a little surprised that PR Rog actually did it, because you could see when you see a character doing this step toward crouch, what's going on is that the player is inputting down toward, down toward, down toward.
Yeah, fireball motions.
Fireball motions. All they need to do to get into an ultra after that is press the kick buttons or the punch buttons, depending. And he was just waiting to react. For that.
But I mean, it's pretty crazy to have that Hail Mary just kind of all ready to go in that situation. And
well, he had the right read.
Yeah, and it worked out for him. So now he's not only taking his first round, but he's taking his first game. And I think he's going to feel, obviously, wake up with a crouch strong and then just a EX Tiger knee. He's really kind of changed the rhythm. And remember, we saw PR Rog focus, dashing, jumping, turnaround, punching through a lot of fireballs. Ryan Hart's not throwing as many fireballs. And there he jumps over and gets the throw. All right, so here he goes back to the fireballs. But see how he's faking them a lot more back there.
Right.
Because PR Rog had that one round with the crazy comeback twice where he just jumped over a fireball.
Right.
And so now once PR Rog walked into the dangerous range, he started faking it a little bit more.
Again, a wake-up DP. Oh, he went for Kara something. Hard to know what it was.
All right, he gets a focus crumple here and immediately
stays
on the offense. Goes for a throw. Yeah, he's trying to use focus attack a lot more, and PR Rog is smart enough to use the turnaround punches, but you'll see the focus attack pay off a couple of times. All right, so PR Rog here trying to get the momentum back. And again, keep in mind that, like we said, PR Rog basically had, 7 rounds in a row, and then Ryan won 3 in a row. So right now he's trying to maintain a little bit of that momentum, but PR Rog trying to steal it back here. And look at this great start from PR Rog. And again, one of those things again where you're just like, oh man, all of a sudden my opponent's figuring it out again. I'm in trouble again. A lot of neutral jumps, uppercut here. Great stuff. Go right into the ultra.
I really like his use of EX Tiger Knee too. It's so good at putting him at a more neutral position. And he's been winning those neutral position games more often. Look at the reactions right there.
Yeah, he's just not letting PR Rog bully him like he did before. He blocked a lot of turnaround punches before.
PR Rog with the funky little attempt at level 3 focus.
There's that weird fireball that went through. But yeah, good stuff right there. See the neutral jumps. The neutral jumps have paid off in spades for him. He is not standing still. He's not walking backwards. He's been in the corner a lot less in the second set than he was in the first set.
I like seeing PR Rog kind of fiddle with his stick there, like, what's going on?
Going for that overhead. Oh, uppercut again. How many, like the second set, if we counted the number of crazy uppercuts Ryan Hart did compared to the first one, it would have been like 1 to 6 or something like that.
Ooh, a miss from PR Rog. And there's the focus you were talking about. Gets crumple, ultra.
Second crumple in the same round. Yeah, and think about this. He had been getting beat up so bad. That was beautiful. Another uppercut challenging that. And now, after that first set, here he is at match point.
Yeah, he's really done a good job to shut down turnaround punch, both on its way over and also in neutral positions. Look at that. He's just getting through at this point.
Yeah. He's kind of doing to PR Rog what PR Rog was doing to him in the first few games, just kind of going at him, throwing out focus attacks. Another uppercut.
Yeah. Well, he has a great read now on PR Rog's timings. Dude. This time to grab a little bit of a mix-up there.
Oh, that was nice from PR Rog. Now, PR Rog not going to go down without a fight.
No, of course, but this is tournament point now for Ryan Hart. You see him pressing a lot of buttons there. He was going for the full crumple. He even jumps toward. Oh, again, the read. And he just dashes up and gets it. He had just gotten meter for focus. And you see his reaction. You see apparently Jared's reaction. He Clark Kent loves him for some reason. Not sure what that's about. I don't know what's going on there. But you see his, that is to say, Ryan's reaction and PR Rog's reaction. PR Rog went from having everything right to not much.
So everything going wrong.
Right. And that's because of how Ryan Hart adapted. The changes he added to his game in tactics, in timing, in spacing, in mix-ups, all of those things, he adapted to how PR Rog was playing.
Yeah, and again, PR Rog is kind of is an offensive character, a player. He likes to attack a lot, and he takes advantage of your tentative play. And that's basically how Ryan Hart started, was that tentative play. And so he knew that he couldn't fight the craziness with his own, with the tentative play, so he kind of took the crazy and fought it with crazy. And it worked out really well in his favor.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you have to do that. And we've been talking about how many games he's played, how many styles and characters he's played. He has learned how to change it up on the fly. He's had to do it before. He did it again here. It's something that he'll have the ability to do at Capcom Cup as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ryan Hart is a huge dark horse here because, we just watched a video of him playing Sagat. Yeah. Like I said, he might come in here with Yun, and he played a lot of Yun in AE.
That's true.
Right? He even played Yun a little bit in 2012 as well. Just a little bit. Still mostly Sagat. Yeah. So Yun is a good character. He's a really good character in Ultra, right?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people are familiar with this Sagat. A lot of people may be expecting Sagat. If he comes in with this Yun, he could really, really mess up a lot of people's plans. Because I don't know if there's as much footage out there of him using Yun as Sagat. It's going to be a little harder to study his Yun, I think. So, I don't know. Like I said, he's beaten Daigo in tournaments in the past. He just beat PR Rog here. He's beaten a lot of the best players out there. So,
I think you're right, though, that a lot of people are not really thinking about him.
Right.
If you were to make a short list, I think, and in fact, we've had this conversation with different people just recently.
Right.
If you were to make a short list of people at Capcom Cup who you think are going to win, what's the short list? And I don't think anybody had him on there. But that might be a mistake because he has such a strong ability to adapt to different players. It's not going to be the case that you'll come in with some style he hasn't seen, some tactics he hasn't seen, and that he won't be able to adapt. We didn't show this, but after this video, if you recall, that's when DiCaprio was first shown for the first time.
That's right. Yeah.
And Combo Fiend comes on and plays against Ryan Hart with DiCaprio, which nobody knew anything about at the time. Ryan had never seen her before, had no idea how she played.
Didn't even know she was a charge character.
had no information about it. And you could see him start to figure things out.
Yeah.
In that set. It was just a few games, but you could see by the end he was picking things up.
Yeah.
That is such a good marker for how well he can adapt. So there's going to be no character that comes in that he's not going to be able to get a beat on. No player that comes in he's not going to be able to get a beat on. Even apart from the studying that I'm sure he's doing right now. If somebody were to come in with something new, he's one of the players who I think could best adapt to it on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, adapting, it was really interesting because I was having a conversation with someone, I can't remember, we were talking about top players. And it's like sometimes the ability to adapt outweighs game knowledge, fundamentals, all these things. And
certainly
because he has that chameleon ability of all the different styles, he has one of the biggest advantages is that he can adapt into all these different roles, into personalities. There's some players that this guy's mostly offense, this guy's mostly defense. But he's the one that I feel like he can put on the mask that he needs and play appropriately. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't pinpoint one particular game style of his, you know.
I think I agree.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be this December 13th in San Francisco at the Warfield. If you can make it, if you can get there, that'll be the thing to do. It's a great venue. I've been there in the past. I really enjoyed it. And it's going to be a blast in person. It's not just going to be fighting games. There's going to be other stuff there too. So highly recommended. But if you can't make it, the stream will be live at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters as well.
Yeah, and definitely subscribe, Capcom Fighters. That way on the day of, you'll get a notification. But I mean, you shouldn't need the notification. You should be sitting at your computer ready to watch, because this is going to be exciting. Again, 16 of the greatest players from around the world. A great distribution of players from all over the place. And this one's it's gonna be explosive, I swear. It's gonna be nuts. Yeah.
If you enjoy this sort of video where we sit here and talk about fighting games and analyze things and talk about players, then please come check out our channels, which are youtube.com/UltraChenTV and twitch.tv/UltraChenTV.
That's right. And you know, we usually do shows every Tuesday where we just talk about what's going on in the fighting game community at all different areas of the fighting game community, new events coming up, new games coming up, and talk about all sorts of news. And you know, we also try to put out a lot of videos where we teach people how to play fighting games, you know, from a very basic level and also from a very high level as well. So we try to cover both sides of the coin. So.
That's right. All right. We'll see you at Capcom Cup.